Hi everyone, this is Brenda Lee. So a little bit about the presenters. I'm actually on the left, and then there's Allegra. This shot was taken when we were on the plane. I'm the Senior Marketing Manager for WebGility, and I head the marketing department. Allegra is our Customer Success Manager at WebGility. She has over 7 years of experience in e-commerce market, and she is basically the go-to person for any question regarding eCC and eCC Cloud, as well as QuickBooks. She's actually getting her certification for QuickBooks. She's our key person to answer questions regarding QuickBooks, as well as shipping if you have questions about shipping. Her department, the Customer Success Department, also does the help documentations, knowledge-based articles, and help videos. One of the things that she also manages is our Pro Advisor network. We have a network of Pro Advisors that we work with where if you have questions about QuickBooks and e-commerce, these are our hand-picked Pro Advisors who we've worked with and are knowledgeable about the e-commerce market and our product as well. So the agenda for today, I want to talk a little bit about WebGility, and I wanted to do kind of an open forum about the challenges of selling online. And then Allegra will talk about eCC Cloud and do a demo of eCC Cloud. So a little bit about WebGility. We were founded in 2007 by Parag Mamnani. Started off as a small side business, but then it quickly grew, and he decided to leave his position at Amazon and pursue this full time. We're headquartered in San Francisco, and we have a development and support center in Indore, India. Since 2009, we're a certified QuickBooks Gold developer, and in 2011, we're also an Intuit IPP developer. So we have over 3,500 small and medium-sized e-commerce sellers. We're privately funded and profitable, and we're growing very fast. Exciting time for WebGility. Our partners, we partner with over 35 online shopping carts and marketplaces. I have listed some of them here, such as Magento, BigCommerce, Shopify, eBay, and so forth. We're also a certified shipping provider that integrate with the major shipping processors, such as FedEx, UPS, and Dsha, Stamps.com. We are very close-knit to the QuickBooks community. We've exhibited and have done presentations at Scaling New Heights, the Sleater Group, and have worked with a lot of local QuickBooks Pro Advisors. And as mentioned earlier, we also have a WebGility Preferred Pro Advisor network that we work with closely. You might be familiar with some of the other QuickBooks hosted platforms, such as Right Network, Unidata, and InSync. And our affiliate program, we have over 300 affiliates in our program, and they are web designers, they're QuickBooks Pro Advisors, they're developers, and they work very closely with us to make sure that our customers have a very functional and comprehensive online shopping cart, and it's also properly integrated with QuickBooks. So I wanted to talk a little bit about the challenges of selling online. One of the things that we have encountered and have talked to numerous customers is the challenges of selling online. From setting up your online store, you're probably working with a web developer, or you're looking at some hosted platforms such as BigCommerce and Shopify and creating your online store. Well, all this takes a lot of time. And part of this is you have to make sure that you're setting up your catalog correctly, making sure your inventory is correct, and also if you're shipping, making sure that your shipping is set up as well. So if you have any of these challenges, raise your hand and I can unmute you and you can talk a little bit about, the experience that you had selling online. Okay, I have Christopher here, so hi, Christopher.
I think our biggest challenge, and we're a startup company, but we're growing really, really quickly, which is great, is getting our shipping and handling separated from our transactions so that QuickBooks or whatever accounting program that we're using can help identify how much we're spending in shipping and handling. Our transactions right now and we use Shopify, are just all combined into one final transaction cost, but it's not separated out by tax or shipping and handling, and that's probably our largest struggle. Everything else regarding Shopify has been fairly easy, and I'm a big supporter of them, but In regards to your product, that's one of our key things that we're looking at to try to prevent having to manually figure out all that those aspects.
And you're currently using QuickBooks Online or QuickBooks Desktop?
We will be using QuickBooks Online.
So Allegra will talk a little bit about that. So moving forward, in addition to setting up your online store and all the moving parts, you're setting up other processes. Because they're not connected fully, you're manually entering a lot of information back and forth, and sometimes that could lead to error. For example, if you're shipping, your order comes in and you have to log into another account and process that information. Similarly, with accounting and bookkeeping with QuickBooks Online, you're doing similar manual work there. And all of this, like what Christopher says, could, be time-consuming and it's a little confusing, and this is where maybe we can help you. Now I'm going to pass the ball over to Allegra, and she will be starting the presentation on eCC Cloud.
Thank you, Brenda. Before I discuss and I kind of go through the demo with eCC Cloud, I at least want to give you some context in terms of where to get started with signing up with eCC Cloud. eCC Cloud supports all U.S. versions of QuickBooks Online, Simple Start, Plus, and Essentials, and as well as it integrates with QuickBooks Desktop, Pro, Premier, or Enterprise. A little bit about how eCC works. First, it starts with connecting securely to the online store. Now, there are some online stores that utilize APIs such as Shopify or BigCommerce, and there are other stores that utilize the eCC Store module. Those stores are, for example, Magento and UberCart or XCart, and require the eCC Store module for communication. Within both of those communication types, eCC connects securely to the online store through that as well. And then after you connect to the online store, you can connect to your QuickBooks Online account using the Intuit Anywhere. This image is showing your company file merging with eCC Cloud, and through the Intuit Anywhere, you are able to authorize that connection. Now, after you authorize the connection and eCC Cloud has connected to the QuickBooks Online account, you're able to configure the synchronization settings which govern how transactions are created in QuickBooks Online, also how customers are created in QuickBooks Online, and also products, marking taxes, and shipping charges. Now, when you go into eCC, you'll see your new orders right here, and you're able to kind of post your orders to QuickBooks Online and create those sales receipts or invoice with a click of a button. And as I mentioned, you can automatically create products and customers as well if they don't already exist within your QuickBooks Online company file. So you can post all of your online orders before your morning coffee is done. So now I'm going to go into the demo and show you how to access eCC Cloud through the Intuit App Center. Okay, so now we're back at the Intuit App Center. So if you're unfamiliar with this App Center, these are authorized applications that Intuit has said can connect to QuickBooks Online interface. So if you need help finding our app, you can always search here eCC and then locate it. And here is eCC Cloud. So I'll take you to the App Center page here. So here's the App Center page. It has some information about it, and also, most importantly, is a 15-day trial. And even if you don't have an eCC Cloud account, through this process, we can create one for you. So to do that, you would click Try It Now. And it would immediately have you sign in using kind of the same email and password you use to log into your QuickBooks Online account. So I'm going to do that now. Right now, it is doing the same exact thing that I showed you in the image. It's connecting the company file to the QuickBooks Online. And so now we can authorize this step here. And so now that we authorize, this is what's going to happen. eCC Cloud and QuickBooks are now communicating with each other, and now this is the portion where we're actually signing you up for an eCC Cloud trial. Now, since you've signed in with your Intuit, you can create a trial, therefore complete your registration. Or if you have signed up for our eCC Cloud trial, then gone through the App Center and you've created a trial in our system, you can link them together. So either use your Intuit information to sign in or your cloud information to sign in because they have linked. So now I'm actually going to create an eCC Cloud account. And as you can see, it has all my information here. Here's my Intuit App Center email address. Here's my name, and here's my last name. And so now I'm going to sign up. This takes you right into eCC Cloud, and then you're going to be ready to start a store. So here we can select a store, and now I'm going to actually show you all the stores that eCC Cloud can integrate with. I said we integrate with over 25 stores, but it isn't until you see all of the stores that you actually kind of see the wide breadth and utilization of eCC Cloud. So if you're using any one of these carts or marketplaces, because we do have Amazon here and also eBay, and a host of hosted platforms such as Magento Go and BigCommerce and Shopify here. So you can easily connect to the store that way, and by clicking on the store, it will display the criteria for connection. I have a question from Christopher.
I watched the video demo, and I'm pretty excited about the product. The only one thing, my one comment, and it looks like you guys answered it in the window, is that I wasn't crazy about having to log into eCC to click a button for it to then get into my QuickBooks Online. I would much rather prefer it to be like an automated batch process that would happen nightly. And so I was just wondering the thought process behind clicking versus offering a scheduling option.
It's definitely having the scheduler, kind of like batch post orders to QuickBooks is definitely on the roadmap. Right now, it is manual. The one thing eCC is able to do automatically is download new orders automatically. So we have that taken care of. So therefore, the batch sending to QuickBooks Online, that definitely is on the roadmap. So thank you for asking that question. So now I'm actually in my eCC Cloud demo, and as you can see, I have two stores set up. I've got a BigCommerce store and I've got an eBay store, so I really kind of wanted to show you how eCC is able to accommodate more than one online store. If you ever have to add an additional store, you can always click on this Add Store and then go through the Add Store wizard that we have within Cloud. So right now I'm going to actually show you the BigCommerce area and kind of show you how eCC Cloud works. So I'm going to go to the dashboard. On the dashboard, you're able to see kind of a graphical representation of all of your orders, and you're able to kind of see activity that goes on within eCC Cloud concerning order downloads and kind of just like activity in terms of posting to QuickBooks and any errors that pop up. So right now we're looking at the dashboard, and as you can see, I've got a representation of all of my orders here. I have a bunch on Tuesday. Let's see if I change this to current month. It shows me kind of a wider scope of all of my orders, and it also gives me a really good revenue summary, so I kind of know at a glance how much revenue is and counted within all these orders, taxes and shipping costs, and how many orders that are being displayed on this graph at any one time. Also, my activity, it shows all the activity that has gone on within Cloud, and so it's really good in terms like if you have multiple users, or you have two people kind of working in Cloud. Let's say one person logs off to go to lunch, the other person logs back in using their credentials, and they can see kind of what the other person has been doing within Cloud. So I think it's really good, especially if you have more than one person kind of working within this environment or assisting you with posting orders to QuickBooks. Now, the first thing I want to show you is as soon as you connect to eCC Cloud and you connect to the online store, it immediately downloads your orders. And all those orders will be displayed here on the graph, but they'll be accessible mainly within the inbox. And as you can see, all of my orders are here. They're on several pages, and I can see about 20 per page. If I wanted to look at any particular order detail within any of these orders, I can choose an order, and I can just click View to view this particular order, I'm going to view order number 538. As you can see, I've got 2 products in here. My shipping charge is $25. My taxes is $54. I've got a discount in here, and my total for this order is $624.35. So I can definitely kind of eCC Cloud grabs that information, or captures that information rather, from the actual online store order and puts it into the cloud interface. So Christopher, to answer your question in terms of how does your shipping and handling get separated out and the taxes get separated out, this is the beginning of that, and kind of splitting those bits of data. And then when I go into the sync settings, I'll show you how that data and kind of where that is going to be placed within the transaction that is created within QuickBooks Online. So now I'm going to go out of the view, and now before I connect and actually post orders to QuickBooks Online, what I'm going to do is I actually have to connect to my QuickBooks Online company file. So I'm going to click on this Connect to QuickBooks Online company file here, and it's going to bring up some connection information. So I'm going to sign into my QuickBooks Online company file here. Okay. All right. So, and also to answer one person's question, they mentioned about QuickBooks Desktop. eCC Cloud does connect with that as well, and I'm going to kind of briefly mention that because it does, but if I want to go into that, that'll actually be a separate webinar in itself. But eCC Cloud is able to connect to desktop. But right now, I'm actually going to connect to my QuickBooks Online company file here. So I'm going to choose that, and so now here's eCC Cloud. Here, this is the app from the App Center, and of course this is QuickBooks Online. So I'm going to choose this because this is my company file, and now I'm going to hit Continue. And once the authorization is complete, now we're able to use eCC Cloud, and so it immediately takes us into the configuration of the synchronization settings. So right now, what it's doing, as you can see, it's successfully connected here. You can kind of see that behind this window here, and and I'm now within the sync settings window. So now eCC has downloaded information from my BigCommerce store, from the online store in general, and now I'm beginning the building blocks to tell eCC Cloud how to connect and how to post orders to QuickBooks Online. So right now, this is the order screen. eCC Cloud can create either a sales receipt or an invoice. In this case, I'm creating a sales receipt in QuickBooks Online. And I've got my deposit to account right here. It's going to go in undeposited funds. And I know I have a store credit, and I utilize store credit, so I'm going to make sure to record that store credit as a line item as well. And so if you have a gift wrap charges, I know some stores do, I particularly don't, you can also have that as a line item as well. Now in the customer screen, as you know, QuickBooks Online maintains customer records, just like QuickBooks Desktop does within the Customer Center. So when you're posting an order to QuickBooks and eCC cannot find an existing customer, which uses matching criteria to determine whether or not a customer is already created within the QuickBooks Online company file, eCC can create that. So it can create it using first name, last name, and it can assign a sales term and whether or not that customer that it's created is taxable. Now, just like eCC Cloud is able to tell QuickBooks Online to create a customer, it can also tell QuickBooks Online to create a product. So if you have your products in your online store, but you haven't yet added those products to the QuickBooks Online company file, eCC Cloud can take care of that during the Post to QuickBooks process. First, you have to establish matching criteria. So all of my products are, I categorize them by SKU, and I want them displayed as the item name and number in my QuickBooks Online company file. And if eCC Cloud cannot find a product, I'm going to create that product, and here's the income account that I want this product to go to. Now, about taxes, and also this is to your question, Christopher, about taxes. So we can record those taxes from the online store and that order into the QuickBooks Online interface. So this is how you're able to kind of parse that out. So now I'm going to hit save and exit and kind of address some questions before I go posting to QuickBooks in case I have some questions about that. So I have a question from Chia, and she says, when I merge the Shopify with eCC Cloud, for all of the invoices that I've manually made in the past, will they be re-entered as new invoices from the merge? That's a really good question. So if you have entered invoices within QuickBooks Online prior, what you're able to do is you can manage kind of when you want eCC to download these particular orders, and you can kind of do that within the last update. You can, of course, decide not to post particular orders to QuickBooks Online if you don't want to. You can delete them from the interface if you've already done them. If you want to capture a certain set up to a particular point, you can always adjust that kind of within this area here, so you can decide when you want to start downloading orders after the initial download of orders. So you certainly don't have to make a double entry by force. So you can make sure you're only posting orders to QuickBooks Online that you want to, and eCC Cloud will give you that control. And I do want to address, now that eCC Cloud is connected to my QuickBooks Online company file, as you can see, I've got this the Intuit App Center blue widget, and that's actually very important, and that will tell you whether or not eCC Cloud is connected to the company file. So it allows you the flexibility to go from eCC Cloud to your QuickBooks Online account and kind of switch between the two if you need to. Thank you, David. I have a question from you. He's saying, can you edit an order through the eCC Post to QuickBooks interface? Well, you can certainly edit, I believe, elements of the order. Let me just check here. No, it's pretty much frozen. The reason why we don't have kind of an edit information kind of within eCC Cloud is because, eCC Cloud shouldn't be governing whether or not you make changes in an order. If an order has changes that need to be made within it, by all means that should be done to the physical order within the online store. Let's say, you have to take out, an item, or you have to add an item. Since your store is connected to your payment processor, it's easy to do that. And of course, you can then refresh that order and download it again with that new information. So you're posting to QuickBooks the newest information within any particular order. So thank you, David, for your question. So I have a question from Jennifer. She's asking, can you kind of do your shipping labels from WebGility, or is it just to configure with Intuit? That's a very, very good question. Definitely shipping within eCC Cloud is on the roadmap. Right now it's just optimized for posting orders to QuickBooks. We do have another product that is not QuickBooks dependent. It's called ShipLark, and that can handle your postage and things like that. It does rate comparison, and we actually have a lot of users that utilize eCC Cloud along with our ShipLark product to kind of have that, ShipLark will ship out the orders, and then eCC Cloud will grab the orders that ShipLark has done, and then you can post those orders to QuickBooks. So we definitely have a solution for shipping. I have a question here. How does it handle refunds? Do they do it through eCC Cloud or on the store? And this question was from Hillary. This is a great question, Hillary, and this is a question that I get a lot. And I always explain this answer with this. If eCC were able to handle refunds the way it handles order fulfillment, we would have to create an entirely new product to just handle refunds. And refunds, as you know, has many moving parts, such as access to your merchant account through the payment processor, and then to the account or to the card that the customer has used to make the order. So for refunds, those are best handled in the back end of the online store, because the online store is connected to the payment processor, and it's really primed to facilitate that. I know marketplaces such as Amazon have a really, really good returns engine in the back of it. So it's best to keep refunds and returns handled in the back end of the online store, and just utilize eCC Cloud for posting all pertinent information or updated information about an order to QuickBooks Online. So now I'm going to post these orders to QuickBooks, and you can of course post multiple orders. I'm going to post about 2 just so I can kind of show you. So I'm going to post these 2 orders to QuickBooks, and I can select them and then hit the Post to QuickBooks button. So it takes a couple seconds for it to post, but as you know, we are creating customers, we're creating products, and we are creating a transaction. So I've posted 2 orders to QuickBooks Online. Awesome. Now those orders that I posted to QuickBooks Online, they're now in my Posted to QuickBooks tab. And I can see I posted order number 538, which is this right here. Here's my sales receipt and my sales receipt number within QuickBooks Online, and also number 533. I have also created a sales receipt, and here's my sales receipt number. Now, let me show you the importance of this blue button. And I mentioned that blue button because I can switch out of eCC Cloud and into my QuickBooks Online account. Let's see, I have, oh good, I'm all signed out of my QuickBooks Online account so I can show you this. So I'm actually going to switch back into my QuickBooks Online account from eCC Cloud, and now I am signed into my QuickBooks Online account. As you can see, this is very familiar to everyone. And to see those 2 orders that I just posted, you can see them here on the recent activities. I just posted these right here. So there's my sales receipts, and I can always access those sales receipts, you know, through here or through the company, or I can look at, you know, here's my sales receipts here that I just created. And so I just created a customer, I just created products, and I also just created the actual sales receipt itself. So I just wanted to show you that in terms of the transactions and what eCC Cloud is able to do. So here's that sales receipt that I just created here. And of course here's my sales receipt number 108. I want to show this to Christopher. Here is the shipping charge here separated, and also the tax is separated as well. So you most likely will be able to utilize the reporting functionality within QuickBooks Online to kind of give you some metrics in terms of how much is your shipping and handling and how much is your tax. And so now that I've shown you how to post to QuickBooks, that's pretty much eCC Cloud. It downloads the orders from the online store, brings them into the eCC Cloud interface, and then you can post those orders to QuickBooks Online. And here they are here displayed. So with that, and I know I have a lot of questions, so now we're entering our question and answer period. So I have a question from Mark, and he says, we have existing customers in QuickBooks Online, and when existing customers via our online store Volusion, we need them to come over to QuickBooks Online in the existing customer account. In the past, we've not been able to match them up when using an integration. Now, the integration between the data that the online store sends to QuickBooks Online or to eCC Cloud, that really it depends, especially with cards that utilize an API, what is accessible within that API. And I know that there are certain online stores that utilize API that don't readily give that particular information. So especially, and they're very, I don't want to say restrictive, but they're very, they give you kind of a bare bones set amount of data. So definitely it would be a really good thing for you to integrate with Volusion and kind of see how that data flows between Volusion, flows through eCC Cloud, and then you can kind of figure your matching criteria and also what data eCC Cloud is able to extract from that Volusion API and then post that order to QuickBooks. I think you'll have a really good experience in terms of doing that. So that's definitely something to try. If you don't have a free trial, I think it would be great to start a 15-day free trial just to get that going and see how that data is handled by eCC Cloud. Thank you. I've got another question. So I've got 2 questions from Andy. I got a question and a follow-up. He's asking, can I post order and not a receipt or an invoice? Now, posting the order to QuickBooks, since QuickBooks Online is a financial type of software, SaaS software, you have to either post a sales receipt or an invoice. A sales receipt is best used, pretty much it's just like a receipt when you purchase something at the store. It's a receipt of sale. So that money, it has a direct deposit to account. It doesn't need to be closed out. An invoice is something that remains an open transaction within QuickBooks Online, and you will have to go and kind of pay that invoice. So if you have, if all of your orders are paid for, it's best to do a sales receipt, and that actually posts the order information into a format that is compatible with QuickBooks Online. Now for the follow-up, yes, I only demonstrated posting to QuickBooks Online a sales receipt, but posting as an invoice, it involves the same exact thing. It's just a different criteria for creating the records. I can switch back into QuickBooks Online and I can show you that. It just has additional, I believe, asset account, and because it doesn't have a deposit account, because it's not a paid invoice that appears within QuickBooks Online. But I'll definitely show you that because they have two different type of qualities. So now I'm here to show you the different types of transactions. I'm going to go to the QuickBooks Sync settings and go to the orders. And these are how orders are created. So here's the criteria for a sales receipt, and here is the criteria for an invoice. As you can see, I've got different types of criteria for an invoice than I do have for a sales receipt. So either one, whichever one works best for you, eCC Cloud is able to do. I have a question from Doug. What if there's partial fulfillment or fulfillment from several locations? I often get this question a lot too now that we're in the age of drop shipping and fulfillment by Amazon and making kind of e-commerce easier if you have somewhere else that handles shipping, so merchants can kind of have more hold of in terms of inventory and order fulfillment. So if you're shipping from multiple locations or from a different location, it's really important to kind of know how the shipments are communicated back to you as the merchant, and what you do to the orders to notify your customers that their order has shipped. At the point where let's say you notify your customers, let's say your drop shipper sends you an Excel file, and you open that Excel file and you see all the orders that have been shipped, and you see the method and the tracking ID, and then you go in the back end of the online store and you modify the tracking information and you notify that the customer has shipped, and you probably change the order status from pending or processing to either shipped or completed. Now at that point, that eCC that you have changed that status from either shipped or completed, eCC Cloud will then take that information or take that order that you have already shipped out and then post that to QuickBooks. So you'll still most likely have to kind of utilize your business logistics in terms of how you notify customers and how you communicate with your dropshipper. But in terms of where and how eCC Cloud is able to download those orders, it would take them at your finish point, and then you can of course post those to QuickBooks Online. Thank you for that question, Doug. Andy, thank you. You have lots of questions here. Okay, so if you're going to utilize QuickBooks Desktop, eCC Cloud does integrate with QuickBooks Desktop, and it's able to do that utilizing the QuickBooks Sync Manager. So if you have eCC Desktop and you don't have an IPP account, you should definitely register for one. If you are using QuickBooks Pro Premier or Enterprise, you have to be using, I believe, 2012 and higher in order to utilize the online services for the QuickBooks Sync Manager. Now, if you were to connect to QuickBooks Desktop, the one thing that you would see different is that right next between the errors and the posted to QuickBooks tab, you'll see a bucket called Queued. And when you post the orders to QuickBooks Desktop, everything goes into the queued box until you've activated the QuickBooks Sync Manager to kind of refresh all of the data, and then you can of course post those orders to QuickBooks Desktop. You can and I can actually show you kind of an order that I have posted to Desktop. This one right here, it's coming in right now, order number 4 $489. This was a sales receipt that I posted to my QuickBooks desktop, and as you can see, here is the sales receipt number that pops into QuickBooks. So you can definitely do that. I'd be happy to address any kind of questions about the QuickBooks desktop integration, because it handles the QuickBooks synchronization settings a little bit differently, and also there is some interplay between eCC Cloud and also the Intuit Sync Manager that needs to be addressed. So I'd be happy to show you that offline.
Allegra, Andy actually has a few follow-up questions with regards to orders. Andy, I'm going to unmute you, and you can address this, and I think it'll be very helpful to the audience as well.
Hey, thanks. Yeah, so I'm using Premiere 2012, and I use QuickBooks orders as a way of making sure I get all my shipments out, right? So if I get an invoice in, my assumption is that order would already be shipped out. So I'm going to a big commerce store. Hopefully be up in a couple of weeks. And so I'm wondering, how do I get orders that come over the web into my normal processing? Because most of my business is a wholesale business. We're not going to use the web. So that's what I'm trying to figure out, is how do I get that process from the web into my standard process so I have less opportunity for failure points?
Okay. Well, definitely you can utilize eCC Cloud to integrate with your Premiere 2012. And if you open your Premiere 2012 account, you'll see, and I believe you go to the online services, you'll see the Intuit Sync Manager. And once you activate the Intuit Sync Manager and you sign in using your Intuit account credentials, you have now kind of put your company file within the accessible range of the App Center. So when you connect ECC to QuickBooks, ECC Cloud to QuickBooks, it's able to see that that additional connection, which is the QuickBooks desktop. That's why when I was showing you the connection between the two, you were able to see QuickBooks desktop and QuickBooks Online, because I'm able to integrate with both, and both are connected. So it would happen in the exact same way as posting to QuickBooks Online.
So does your solution use Web Connect basically as a way of integrating, or you have your own app that sits there and kicks off?
Connection. Yes, it is a direct connection. You know, we don't use IFF files or anything like that. It is a direct data in, data out kind of garbage in, garbage out drop.
But can I say that a QuickBook, again, because QuickBooks defines orders as different from invoices and sale receipts, can I do a download, so I can download orders then first and follow my ordering process to make sure they ship out?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
I would download orders that you know that have been shipped out, or the orders that you've been shipped out, make sure the status is changed to either shipped or completed. I know with BigCommerce you can either do both, and have ECC Cloud just handle those. So it's only downloading the orders that you know are completed in the sense that they have shipped.
So the answer is then is again, trying to get back to the confirmed answer, your system integrates with QuickBooks by creating a receipt or an invoice. It will not create a QuickBooks order.
Correct. Yes.
Okay,
it's
fine.
a sales
Thank
receipt
you.
or an
That's
invoice,
what I was looking for.
You're very welcome.
We have some questions from Kate. Kate, I can unmute you so that you can ask your questions directly, and so the audience can also hear you.
My question is about, we have a lot of customers who pay a deposit down, and we've had trouble syncing that up with QuickBooks because it doesn't really match an item. It's just a partial payment.
That's a very good question. This is the first time, not the first time I've actually heard this particular question. Now, partial payments, in terms of partial payments, are they paying, you know, kind of a portion now and then a portion later?
Yeah, it's just a $200 deposit, and then they pay the rest of the item's cost when it's ready to be shipped.
Is it a consistent $200 deposit?
Yeah.
Now, when that deposit comes in with the order, is it an actual item, or is it just no items but there's a cost in there?
Yeah, it doesn't connect to an item until they've paid in full. I mean, I didn't know whether to create a new thing called, you know, deposit for the product. Or we've had, yeah, that's where we get stuck.
You know, And I know that you're using QuickBooks, ECC Desktop, and I think it would be easy to assign kind of a product to a deposit, like a deposit product. At least you can track how many products of this deposit that you have within QuickBooks by running a report. And then in the final payment, of course, you can maybe create a secondary order that would actually have the cost of the items in there. And so if you're maintaining a customer record with the same customer, both of those transactions will be within the customer record.
So we would have to do that. We use VirtuMart. So on the website, create an item called deposit for product.
Yes,
okay.
That would be easiest. And then I'm not sure if VirtuMart is able to do this. If you edit the order, does it make a duplicate order, and then you can put the items that they actually want in there. So I would kind of look and see how your cart handles duplicate orders, or do you just kind of make a new order for that person?
I've just been manually entering it into QuickBooks every time that comes up.
Okay. So how do they pay for the remainder of the items after the $200 deposit?
With PayPal.
PayPal. Okay, so they send you money directly, and you just make a note of whether or not, or what that PayPal transaction is.
Yeah, and we have a lot of problems connecting PayPal to QuickBooks. That's another issue.
Right. So, I would definitely like to address your question offline. I think this is a more, kind of a question of logistics and kind of where ECC can fit in and what it can do in terms of, what its role is and what the role of QuickBooks can be. So I definitely would like to talk to you offline about
sure,
this. I think it's a very interesting case. You're very welcome.
We have a question from Hillary. So Allegra, her question is, once the order is posted to QuickBooks, will it deduct from the central inventory?
Yes, it will. So if you have inventory, so let's say you've got products in your company file in QuickBooks Online. As soon as you post the order to QuickBooks, it will deduct the inventory. That's why it's very important for ECC to kind of establish that matching criteria. Also the inventory is kept on the individual sites. Yes, so if the inventory is kept on the individual site, so let's say the inventory, let's say you have a product, let's say widget A, and you have 10 in the online store. The nature of the online store is to deduct the quantity at the point of sale. So that deduction will happen naturally. And if you have, when you're posting the order to QuickBooks Online, if you have quantity, if you have the same matching quantity in the QuickBooks Online, it should deduct from that as well, or you at least be able to run a report to see how many you've sold in any given time. All right, I've got another question, it says, I have a recurring subscription box business through Chargeify, which is an app for Shopify. If this doesn't create an order in Shopify, is there a way to still integrate ECC or upload an easy CSV format? We are able to integrate with Shopify. It's a very good integration, but in terms of this reoccurring subscription, if the reoccurring subscription makes a reoccurring order, and I haven't quite seen this particular app, then ECC will get this reoccurring order and download it as a regular order. It, of course, will match it with the customer information within QuickBooks Online. So if that application, Chargeify, is able to do that, then I can say with pretty good certainty that it'll work out pretty well.
And we have a few questions from Doug.
So I asked a question about refunds. I know you have dealt with it. And what about partial refunds? And what happens if there's a posting into QuickBooks and then it needs to be fixed after the fact?
I believe you will have to fix that QuickBooks Online itself. I know that Amazon has a very good engine in terms of refunding and partial refunding, but you'll most likely have to kind of manually make that reflection within QuickBooks Online itself, especially since it's out of eCC Cloud at that point.
Okay, and I have, I'm actually using QuickBooks Enterprise desktop,
Okay.
and we have about 1,000 orders a day. So how long would it take to post 1,000 orders?
Posting 1,000 orders to QuickBooks Online, I would do them in sets of maybe first with 50, and then if there's not a bad lag time, I would do it in sets of 100. I would say it would probably take you about an hour.
So that's a daily process. There's no way to automate that for the whole day?
No. eCC Cloud, that particular functionality is on the roadmap to automatically post to QuickBooks Online. You know, and posting to QuickBooks Desktop does have its own type of, you know, just kind of its own communication, its own way of posting to that, utilizing the sync manager and that automation. So, you know, that's definitely something that we can explore, but it is.
I spoke to ECC about having like one batch entry for the whole day instead of doing it on a per order basis, because we have everything tracked in Magento on a per order basis. Instead of duplicating it all in QuickBooks again, just have one master transaction in QuickBooks, and as of last week that was not available. Do you know anything more about that?
No, I don't, and I definitely need to educate myself more about that. I know within a particular integration between point of sale and QuickBooks Financial, it's able to kind of pull up everything in big batches, especially if you post to QuickBooks in a big batch. But that, again, is between Intuit and between product to product. But in terms of how eCC Cloud and eCC Desktop in general post to QuickBooks, it does it pretty much line by line. You're able to do it in batches, but of course it will, if you do it in a batch of 10, it'll create 10 sales receipts. It's not able to consolidate the batch size into one kind of meta transaction, because that is not a true reflection of each and every single order that's coming in from the store.
Okay, thank you.
No problem. Thank you for your question.
I think we've run out of time. It's been a pleasure. Seems like, you know, we should do another one since there's a lot of questions. We might be doing another series of eCC Cloud webinar to talk more about our integration with QBO and QED. Thank you again for attending, and have a wonderful day.